U.S. stocks fail to hold rebound for second day after Nasdaq enters correction territory. U.S. stock indexes gave up an early session rebound and turned negative in the final hour of trading Thursday, repeating Wednesday's volatile pattern of trading after an equities sell-off tied to a surge in bond yields pushed the tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite into correction territory this week. What's happening? The Dow Jones Industrial Average DJIA was flat. The S&P 500 SPX was down 7 points, or 0.2%. At about 4,524. The Nasdaq Composite Comp fell 43 points, or 0.3%, to around 14,299. Stocks fell Wednesday, with the Dow and S&P 500 each dropping around 1%, while the Nasdaq Composite shed 1.2%. Leaving it down more than 10% from its record close in November and meeting the definition of a market correction. Read, the Nasdaq Composite just logged its 66th correction since 1971. Hey race, what history says happens next to the stock market. What's driving markets? Stocks have struggled since the beginning of the year as bonds have sold off. The yield on the benchmark 10-year Treasury BX, TMUBMAS 10Y has surged more than 30 basis points this year, hitting a 2-year high earlier this week, while the 10-year German BX TMBMKD 10Y bond yield turned positive for the first time in 3 years on Wednesday. Read, stock market warning signal. Hey race, what surging bond yields say about S&P 500 returns in next 6 months? Michael Brown, senior market analyst at Caxton FX in London, said sentiment remains fragile. Selling pressure has been intense over the last couple of weeks, albeit slightly less so yesterday, and little on the fundamental side has shifted over the last 24 hours. As such, we cannot rule out any near-term gains being a bear squeeze rally, which may allow new shorts to soon enter the market, particularly if rates continue to tear higher, said Brown. The rise in yields was seen taking a bigger toll on growth stocks, which are heavily represented in the Nasdaq Composite. Growth stock valuations are based on expectations for cash flow far into the future. When Treasury yields rise, the value of that future cash is discounted. Yields pulled back Wednesday, and the 10-year rate was up 0.7 basis point at 1.834% Thursday. With the broader Nasdaq in correction territory, we see opportunities in specific areas of the tech sector, such as semiconductors, cloud stocks, and megacap stocks. But we don't believe recent declines in the Nasdaq are a widespread buy the dip moment, said Robert Schein, Chief Investment Officer at Blanky Schein Wealth Management in Palm Desert, California. At least 7 signs show the stock market is starting to break down. Investors continue to wade through corporate results, including airlines, as earnings season picks up steam. In U.S. economic data Thursday, first-time jobless claims unexpectedly rose by 55,000 last week to 286,000, compared with expectations for 225,000, likely reflecting the effect of the spread of the Omicron variant of the coronavirus that causes COVID-19. The Philadelphia Fed's manufacturing index rose to 23.2 in January from 15.4 in December. Meanwhile, existing home sales decreased 4.6% between November and December, hitting a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 6.18 million, the National Association of Realtors said Thursday. Compared with a year ago, sales were down more than 7%. Markets also are paying attention to geopolitical worries, with Russia stationing troops along the border of Ukraine. My guess is he will move in. He has to do something, said U.S. President Joe Biden of Russian President Vladimir Putin at a press conference on Wednesday. Separately, the People's Bank of China cut a key interest rate, as the Hang Seng HSI surged more than 3%. Which companies are in focus? United Airlines Holdings Inc. UAL late Wednesday reported a smaller than expected quarterly loss, and sales came in above Wall Street expectations, but said it was postponing capacity increases until later in the year due to Omicron, and that it now believes this year's capacity will be lower than in 2019. Shares fell 1.6%. Shares of American Airlines Group Inc. AAL fell 1% after reporting a narrower than expected loss and better than expected revenue. Shares of Travelers Companies Inc. TRV gained 3.4% after the insurer reported a big profit beat. Casper Sleep Inc. CSPR said shareholders approved its plan to be acquired by certain subsidiaries of Durational Consumer SPV4, an investment vehicle managed by Durational Capital Management LP. Shares jumped 10.3%. What are other assets doing? The ICE US Dollar Index DXY, a measure of the currency against a basket of 6 major rivals, was up 0.3%. Oil futures erased early weakness to build on a 7-year high, with the U.S. benchmark CL up 0.3%. Gold futures GC00 ticked up 0.1%. The stocks Europe 600XX SXXP rose 0.4%. While London's FTSE 100 UKX fell 0.2%. The Shanghai Composite CN Comp fell 0.1%, while Japan's Nikkei 225 JP NIK rose 1.1%. Steve Goldstein contributed to this article.